You know what all the cool kids are doing these days? Listening to podcasts. And what does Toxic Radio have? Podcasts, duh.
Just as I thought.
Go to toxicradio.net and check out our weekly schedule for the lineup of great shows. Miss any of them live? No worries.
Thank God, dude.
We're on all the top podcast platforms, or just find them at toxicradio.net or on the free app. The choice is yours. Be cool or not.
We're gonna be cool.
Toxic Radio. Get the podcasts and get infected. Got an idea for a podcast and think you have the talent to make it a reality? Already have a podcast but been thinking you could take it up a notch, but you're just not sure how to do it? Well, Toxic Entertainment has everything you need to go from podcasting to podcasting. Bring us your talent, your passion, and your best ideas. We'll bring to the table our state-of-the-art technology and comfortable facility, creative and professional staff dedicated to bringing your ideas to life, competitively priced packages to suit your goals and budget, and over 10 years of experience as a leader in the podcasting field. Toxic Entertainment offers quality and affordability that can't be beat. When you're ready to start your journey, Toxic Entertainment is here to help you reach your destination. Learn more at toxicentertainment.net or call 888-66-TOXIC to arrange a studio tour. That's 888-66-86942. Toxic Entertainment, where creativity meets passion. Does the real world seem unsatisfying?
It's boring, but it's part of my life.
Well, it's time to level up and reboot reality. Join Toxic Mike and Demonoid as they explore the ever-evolving world of virtual reality and everything it has to offer. Whether you're just starting out or you've been there from the beginning, Reboot Reality will introduce, educate, and guide you to the best in VR. Find it wherever you get podcasts at toxicradio.net or on the free Toxic Radio app. Reboot Reality. Log in and get immersed.
Hungry for Hope Nation, we are live from the beautiful Toxic Radio studio. I am your host, Donnie Hart, and I'm joined by my so wonderful, so amazing co-host, Angela.
Hello, Hungry for Hope Nation. How are we feeling tonight?
I don't think they're going to respond to you in person, but
no.
We have an awesome,
but it's nice to ask.
Awesome guest you can introduce live in the studio.
We do have a special guest. And I just want everyone to see, we got Mr. Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man. So if you saw my chemo comedy video, you would know what this is from. We did Ghostbusters for round 8.
Tell them if they didn't, and tell them how they can watch it.
So you can see it on my Facebook, social media, my Instagram. There is a little, I had to edit a lot out for TikTok, but this was actually a video that had the most takes out of all of my videos. We had to do 6 separate takes. I had to put it all together. I had to deal with copyright situations, things like that. But there's so much that goes into it. And I actually put like soot and dirt on my face. And I memorized the specific lines from that part with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. And it just really... I mean, the nurses were they come out of the woodwork, all the workers there to see me. And, oh, I heard about you. You're that girl. And there was a couple of doctors and it was so busy yesterday for chemo because there it is. I also realized I make a very ugly man. I mean, I am not a good looking man at all. So, dressed my chemo machine up as the Stay Puft. And it was so busy in that infusion center because the day before was Memorial Day, was a holiday, so it was packed, and they had put me in the booth right across from all the doctors for oncology. So my oncologist saw me, a whole bunch of people. It was just, looking at me strangely, and they wanted to know more about these videos, and all the nurses were telling them it was really, really a good time yesterday. If you can say getting chemo is a good time.
So you got 8 rounds done now?
Yes, 8 rounds done now. Round 9 is scheduled for June 21st. I am supposed to get my scans. I was hoping to get my scans scheduled before my 9th round because, like I said, I have a lot of decisions that still have to be made. Conversations with my oncologist, going back to work and things of that nature. And obviously I want to see if the chemotherapy is still working. The insurance company will also make a determination after my scans on whether or not to continue to approve my chemo. So, and I also need to make a decision on myself because granted, I have come such a long way with this chemotherapy, and I'm grateful, and I love my oncologist and my whole team, and they've really worked a miracle on me. But I'm on chemotherapy for life, so it's not like, okay, I'm going into round 9 and I only have 5 more left. I mean, so there's a lot of decisions riding, but the insurance company most likely will not approve my scans to get my scans until June 18th. So I'm most likely looking at having to do round 9 before I even have my scans or my results or both.
And when is that? Round 9?
June 21st is round 9. I already am getting ready for my idea that I have. The idea that I have for round 9 as far as the chemo comedy videos is actually a request from someone. So I'm getting everything together, and people don't realize that there's actually a lot of work, and this is expensive. Like, I just paid my credit card. It was $600 worth of costumes and stuff that I have to do. So, I mean, I'm going to have to do a GoFundMe page for just the costumes in general and these crazy ideas that come out of my head, but it was really a good time.
You can claim it on your taxes. You'll be all right. I got a good accountant. But we are also joined live in studio by our guest. We are joined by Dr. Kelli Gallagher, physical therapist. Kelli?
What's up, everyone? Thanks for having me.
Oh, welcome to the studio. Welcome to Toxic Radio. Welcome to Hungry for Hope. Me and Angela are so happy to have you. You and Angela go back. You have a relationship. You've been friends for
4 or 5 years.
5 years. CrossFit.
CrossFit.
Yeah, how do you guys share how you guys know each other?
Misery loves company. So
Yeah.
working out in a hot gym in the summer and
Freezing cold
or
gym
freezing
in the
cold.
winter, because it's not a regular gym. It's like a warehouse.
Yeah. And you have to like find it. It's like hidden in the back. So you have
Yeah.
to like.
It's a CrossFit warehouse in Williamstown?
Williamstown, yep.
Williamstown. You know, we had the CrossFit co-founder. She's part of Hungry for Hope Nation. She's been on the show. Lauren, she's an awesome person. She co-founded CrossFit with her ex-husband back many years ago. Amazing person. But tell us more about you. This is about you, Dr. Kelli Gallagher. Tell us what you do. What brought your interesting story to us?
Oh, all right. So interesting story. So I'm a physical therapist, and I help people all the time get out of pain without using prescription meds, without going to surgery. So that's pretty much the basis. But there's a big background of also helping people through Crisis Response Canines, which we'll get into, as well as, working. I actually play in the string band for the mummers too, and we do a lot of work with the mummers as well as helping people see other things. It's not just, sitting around drinking every
What
time.
string band are you in?
Oh, Hegeman String Band.
All right, shout out to them.
Shout out.
I'm down there on 2th Street every year just about.
Yep.
We have good times.
We do a lot. There's different foundations that help the mummers itself. There's Mummers Against Cancer, things like that help within the organizations that people don't know about. They just
think it's drinking and partying and
Yeah,
Yep.
dancing. It's way more than that.
It's way more than that.
way more.
For sure.
So besides doing the string band, tell us more. You do your physical therapy, which is awesome. You were talking to me about that before, how you
Right.
really help people not just get off medicine, but you can help people before they get to that point. We've seen so many stories on this show where people have fought demons of prescription drugs. It's one of the biggest battles in America, in my opinion. And you get to that. A lot of it starts with injuries. I know for me, when I shattered my leg and broke just about everything in my face, that's like the first thing they did, just threw prescription pills at a 17-year-old didn't know what they were. You try to stop people before they get to that a lot of times.
Yep. Oh, and the physical therapy profession anyway, gets people out of that as well without even doing, going through these surgeries. So the main thing people don't know about is you can see a physical therapist in the the state of New Jersey without a doctor's prescription. So if people come to me quick, like within that first couple weeks, we can prevent a lot of injuries, a lot of things further down the road. So acutely, it's really nice, as well as, I'm in a performance-based setting as well. So I deal with CrossFitters, runners, things like that.
What are like the most common things people would come to you for?
Oh, so definitely shoulder injuries, back. I see a lot of backs. Definitely elbows now. Overuse injuries. I see, now everyone's getting to running, so a lot of things for running injuries, ankles, all over across the board. Been doing this for 11 years now, so I see everything.
What first struck your interest to get into this? Was this something you always wanted to do? Was this something you came across, or?
So always being active and playing sports was huge growing up, and I am a huge advocate for youth athletes as well. I coach for the town, and especially women and girls in sports. They're not really shown, early on that it's okay to lift weights. It's okay to play sports. They're, now it's more prevalent, but back then it wasn't when I was a kid. So I was kind of like the oddball out, lifting weights at 13 with my dad's cement weights,
Those were the best.
And then he had to change them and had that little ring on it. And
I love
move
old
it
school
off.
weights.
Dripping sand from the breakage, and those were the best weights.
Yeah, so I started with that and then got into different types of sports, always staying active, and I saw the benefits of it. And I didn't get, most people's stories is they've gotten injured and they saw PT, and that wasn't my story. It was like, oh, this seems pretty cool. I want to help more people. And it went along that route.
So you just always seem like since you were young, you always wanted to help people and help, young girls who, like you said, it's not as common for them, especially back when you were younger. It's becoming more, because there's people like you, I feel like, who are really showing and, we're publicizing it more on TV and a lot of these national teams and stuff. But that was basically your goal, was to help people and bring it to more female young kids.
Right.
Kind of, sure they look up to you now, young girls.
Yeah, that, and also it is also shout out for CrossFit itself. They put women and men together when they look at the games, as they never say, oh, women were secondary. It's not like different leagues. It's all in the same league. They'll have the men go and then the women go, or vice versa, women, men. And sometimes I think some of the, the women have more fans than the men itself. So that's also tying it back to CrossFit and getting into that. Well,
yeah. So tell us, you do the CrossFit. That's how you guys met.
Yes.
Tell us more about it.
Yes.
I know Angela wants to talk about that. She's dying, I can already tell.
So Kelli and I have worked out for years, and, she's seen the best of me and she's seen the worst of me. And, with Kelli being a doctor, she's the only doctor of physical therapy at our gym. So literally everyone comes to Kelli and says, hey, what's this sound like? What's this feel like? What's this smell like? What do you think this is? And I started having, and like I told the audience before, I was having significant chest pain for a week and a half before I decided to finally go get checked out.
Yeah.
And it was a Thursday or Friday, and I went to Kelli and I said, hey, so this is kind of what I'm experiencing. Can I pick your brain? And of course we had a lot of assessment, went back and forth. And, the last thing she said to me was, you need to get checked. And like I walked ASAP. Like ASAP, like tonight. And I'm like, okay. And she knew I wasn't going to go, and I knew I wasn't going to go. So a couple days later, it was a Monday night, November 8th. I'll never forget it. And Kelli was with a client in the gym. I usually work out at 6 p.m. and I coach a 7 p.m. class. And this was a workout that the workout that was prescribed for that Monday night was a workout that I loved because I've done it 1,000 times and I'm very fast at it and very good at it. So of course I'm like hyped up to do this workout because I've done it and I do it pretty quickly. And it was a bunch of burpees and cleans and things of that nature. And a minute and 20 seconds into this workout, I had to stop myself because I was having chest pains. I just hard time breathing, my legs were numb, and I just kind of chalked it up to just having a bad day because you just don't always perform at peak fitness every CrossFit. And I just figured maybe I didn't eat enough that day. So I
you left out the legs were numb to me too. I don't remember.
Yeah, so
you learn something new every day.
Angela's version, like in her head, she's so tough. In her head, she's like, "Oh, I just have this little chest pain," I didn't know all this was going on until after the fact.
Yeah, so it wasn't like the first. I was having the numbing of the legs only when working out. And it wasn't all the time. And I just chalked it up to just being tired or the heat or the cold or whatever. I didn't eat enough that day. And, obviously there's things. And I don't want to bother Kelli. I mean, she's super busy, even though I know she's like always there for me. But we all know how I am with doctors and stuff. And we just did bench press. We did pull-ups. I'm thinking I pulled a muscle. I was doing, I would do push-ups every day. So I just kind of chalked it up to that. And I was a little, upset. I stopped myself short and I was putting away my equipment. And Kelli was in the back with a patient of hers, and there was a CrossFit Adversary member who I was going to be coaching for 7 p.m. And I was walking towards the back of the gym, and in the center of the gym, the chest pain had hit me so hard that it literally brought me to my knees. And I can feel, I'm clamped in my chest, and I can feel Kelli looking at me, and I can feel her client looking at me, and I can feel the other gym member who I'm supposed to coach at 7 staring at me. And I remember not looking up because I was in tears, and as we already assessed, I'm an ugly crier. And I remember saying, just look away, it'll pass. And then when I finally looked up, I just see Kelli's face.
Gotta go.
You need to go get checked. But still, of course, I didn't go get checked.
So stubborn. So stubborn.
I didn't get checked.
How did you feel when this was going on, Cud? Did you think the worst? You have a soft spot for people in need. This is somebody who's obviously in some pain. With your background, you saw it and you knew something had to. What was your first thoughts when you saw the problem that was going on with your friend?
Right. So the first thought, it wasn't cancer. It wasn't right off the bat. The first thing I thought was, maybe it's a PE, maybe it's a blood clot, something like that. She needs to go, get that checked out, go to the emergency room now. And
she told me that like 2 or 3 times, by the way.
She wouldn't listen. I literally almost like just drug her myself. But so that's the first thing we think of is something like that. You don't go to the extreme right away. You go to, have those doctors diagnose what's to do next, because we could tell right away if it's a musculoskeletal injury or if it's more like central, if it's through the lungs, if it's something else. So it's the best thing we do as like PTs anyway is know when to walk away, know when to send someone out and to get further testing. And that was right off the bat when she said the chest pain and she could move her arms without pain and she was breathing with pain.
Yeah.
Those were a couple flags. And then after pulling away some more information, then it made sense the next day. You came in and said, oh, I've been having trouble sleeping and going back to sleep. Yeah. And that's always a red flag for, cancer.
So, so that was Monday, and I was able, the pain in my chest that brought me to my knees and has everyone staring at me, and Kelli saying, for the 5th time, for the love of God, would you go get checked? The pain passed. I was able to stand, and I coached. I coached my class at 7 o'clock. I went home, I showered, I crawled into bed. Next thing I know, 2 o'clock in the morning, I woke up, and the pain was so severe. I grabbed my cell phone, and I honestly thought I was having a heart attack or a stroke. It was horrendous, and I'm thinking, please don't. I don't want to have to call an ambulance at 2 o'clock in the morning. And it passed, so I went back to bed. And I went back to bed, and the next morning I woke up, I clocked into work, and, thought more about Kelli, and I just can see Kelli's face, and I was just like, you know what, let me go to urgent care, because urgent care is probably just going to do a chest x-ray and tell me that I have a pulled muscle and I'll be out of there. And unfortunately, as we all know my story, I've told it plenty of times, it didn't work out that way. Urgent care wanted me to go to the ER immediately and get what they call a D-dimer test.
Mm-hmm. And I knew that as soon as you said you were going to urgent care, I'm like, they're going to send you right to the ER.
Yeah.
But I figured I'd let you go anyway, because then you would eventually get to where you needed to go.
Right. So I texted Kelli and I said, on my way to urgent care.
So you guys were keeping contact on this?
Yeah.
I kept checking in on her.
The 2 days then?
So it was a Thursday, Friday, and then the whole weekend, and then that Monday. So yeah. And then, I texted her, I said, you know what, I'm just going to go to urgent care. And then I had texted her and I said, these people are making me go to the ER. ER. I don't want to go to the ER. I don't, and even right after urgent care, I was pissed off because I'm not trying to go to the hospital. Mind you, we are in the second big wave of COVID, and I am not trying, I'm not trying to get sick, and I'm pretty healthy. And, I was just, I don't like hospitals, and now it's filled with COVID. And
there's no, you can't wait with anyone.
I couldn't bring anyone with me.
So how is that? Sometimes you want somebody there, especially something like that.
See, I'm the opposite because I really thought it was nothing. And here I am. I have to go into the ER, and I left urgent care and I went home. I didn't go right to the ER. I went home. I washed my hands. I had something to eat. And then my mom called and she said, what's going on? And I said, they want me to go to the ER and I don't want to go to, and she said, you have to go. And then Kelly's like, you need to go. And I'm like, fine, I'll go. And I walk into the ER and I go straight to the booth and I said, listen, I'm here for a D-dimer and D-dimer only. I want to be in, I want to be out. And the lady, they look at the script, and on the script, it has a diagnosis of chest pain. So long story short, I wasn't in and out. But the first thing to come back to me physically was the D-dimer test. And I texted Kelly immediately because your D-dimer has to be below a 0.26. My D-dimer test came back a 4.06. And I knew right then, and for those who are listening, a D-dimer test for things like hemorrhages, blood clots, cancers, bleeding, and things like that. So I text Kelly automatically, and I think, what did we think? We thought maybe it was a blood clot, right?
Right.
What did you think, Kelly?
Right. I just thought, let the physicians handle this at this point and just go through the different numbers. And I've learned not to assume anything until all the tests were back and further testing, because different numbers mean different things with correlation with other things. Yeah. So I just didn't assume anything, just took it as it is, and we just went from there.
Yeah, and all the test results that came back, and it was just, no one, even to this day, because I honestly don't know how I didn't drop dead in the gym with all the test results and what was showing. I think even today we're still all kind of pretty surprised of what the diagnosis was.
And the thing that surprised me the most was how quickly it went downhill too. Yeah, it was almost like was it a Tuesday or Monday, and then the next 3 days, and then within the next week it was bad.
I was in some bad shape too. And I got diagnosed in November, and all the test results, I had to have biopsies, PET scans, several different kind of PET scans, MRIs, lung biopsy. I had so much that I didn't have my first chemo session until January 5th. And, it got to the point where I had so much severe back pain, so much chest pain. I couldn't swallow food normally. I went downhill, and it wasn't a mind thing, because the majority of the way my mind works is I like to kind of deny things before really accepting reality. So, but it was pretty bad.
Now, Kelly, you work with a lot of people, with pain problems. Have you worked in the past with a lot of people with injuries from cancer or pain from cancer?
That's a good question, Dottie, because especially with physical therapy on oncology, there's different types of treatment. So there's radiation, there's chemo, and people respond differently depending on the cancer. And what we do as PTs is, especially if you're trained in that direction, is to gradually bring them back to what they're able to do, slowly and surely, whether it's balance related, lungs, increase their respiratory rate, things like that, to help them breathe, help them move again, get their quality of life back, which is huge.
So that's a big thing. People, you said quality of life. A lot of people dealing with cancer, they're dealing with that, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially there's different, it's all encompassing with the mental aspect as well as the physical aspect, because now you're learning a new body pretty much. How is your new body responding, and what can you do and what can't you do yet, I like to say, because there's always, somewhere you're working towards.
And one thing I got to really mention about Kelly, because she really has seen me. She saw me come back to the gym when I was actually able to, and she saw my slow progression. And Kelly has seen me cry in the middle of a workout, cry after a workout, and she is just so full of knowledge and such a good listener. And she really is a calming force for me and an uplifting spirit for me, because, you know, it's hard. I went from being at my peak fitness and being able to do all this and trying to now, you know, having to scale everything. And so she's really a calming force, and everything from PT to simply listening to giving insight to pain management. I mean, she is more a humble advocate than she realizes.
Thank you. Appreciate that so much, Ange.
I feel you get a lot of people when they come to you. People aren't coming to you at their best. They're coming to you because they are broken or hurt. They're going through something that their body has pain. They need to feel better. So that, I guess that really helps, having somebody who can really be nice to them and really passionate, like Angela has explained you are.
Right.
That's probably a big part of what you do and why you're so
true.
good at it.
So true. Is because people, when they walk in through the door, they're not in the best of moods. You know, like you said, they have some type of pain going on, and a lot of the pain, you know, is also in dealing with stress as well. The more I'm in this field, the more I realize that stress and pain go hand in hand. So there's different layers of stressful situations people are under, which is presenting on the body as neck pain, back pain, things like that. And that's why we unravel those layers throughout an evaluation and try to get down to the root cause of what's really causing everything, and then move from there.
Yeah, I'm sure pain, I know I'm in pain. Pain caused me to be angry and just stressed, and having somebody who's understanding and really welcoming, I'm sure it goes a long way with your patients and people coming into your office.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And, you know, people come in, they sit down with me for an hour, and I hear their story, and I find out what their goals are, you know, and go from, you know, see what can we achieve, you know, this week? What can we achieve this month? What can we achieve in 6 months? Because I've seen people in a performance setting, which means I'm not confined by insurance regulations. So I could see people as long as they need to be seen, or as short as they need to be seen, depending on what their goals are.
And Kelli takes like a huge, because she has her own private office in the gym, and she, with every client that comes in, she spends personal time with them.
Yeah.
You don't get that kind of personal time with, you know, a lot of pain management or PT, and it's, you know, I mean, she's so personable, and she takes the time to listen, and every person who comes in just keeps coming back because they love her. Not only is she good at what she does and she helps relieve the pain, but she really gives you that personal experience. She really takes the time to listen and then come up with a treatment goal plan of, you know, this is you. So everything that you guys are doing, you're doing together as a team, and you know what you're doing. And she also has a bunch of cool, nifty toys
I bring out
that she brings out. So
slam
tell
board.
us. Yeah, I mean,
It's like a circus. You got
she
Yeah,
like
yeah.
she has these
a couple
accessible
clown
tools.
friends who would love that.
She has so talk to a little bit about us and explain kind of the tools that you have. I know one is a vibrating heating belt.
Yeah,
that I
that's,
love.
That's with Hyperice. I have a clinical affiliate with Hyperice. So I do have, you know, the vibrating heating belt as a tool. It's not the main thing at all, but it is part. Actually, I have
Part
a
of your
picture of you
toolbox?
dancing with it on one of my videos.
Yes.
Oh, we're going to find that
We're
picture.
Yes.
going to post that.
Yeah.
And yep, that was definitely one of my tools. I use a slant board a lot. We use foam. But the biggest one, the biggest and best tool are weights and loading the tissues. And we're doing back squats. We're doing overhead squats. We're doing lunges. We're putting our knees over our toes in our clinic, which you know, there's a lot of flack for that, you know, in the old school PT stuff. But we're loading the tissues appropriately.
Well, I know when I got hurt, they sent me to a pain management doctor, and half the time I didn't see the doctor. I would just see the person at the front. They would write whatever script I thought, and, you know, we'll see you again. And, you know, it's a little different there, but I guess having, you know, when you're in pain, having somebody making that connection with you, never once did they recommend that to me with my injuries and stuff, but I'm sure that it could have helped a lot of my pain issues I had. Have you seen a lot of people come from who were, I know you said you stopped people getting on pills, but have you seen people try to go from, you know, pain doctors who write out these scripts, unlimited scripts, come to you to try to get off that?
Right. Yeah. Because what happens is they get into this cycle and onto this different pain medication, and you know what level that leads to further down the road. And we don't want to get to that point. Now, I can't recommend anything with medication. That's not in my, you know, scope of practice. But as far as helping people feel better and getting it off, if with conjunction with their doctor and their physician, as long as they're feeling better, doing the things that we're doing in the office, I mean, it's not just exercises too. I do hands-on work. We do some scraping, soft tissue cupping. There's all that muscle energy techniques. There is joint mobilizations as well. Pair that with exercise, people tend to respond very well with those treatments.
Is it more long-term or short-term usually with your...
Right. So it's definitely short-term in the beginning. So we're definitely trying to. I have like a 3-step process. So step
Decrease
one,
your pain?
decrease it. Yeah, we want to decrease the pain, like put out the fire. We want to get that pain level down. Then we're figuring out what the root cause of the pain is. Like what really caused it? Was your elbow pain due to your elbow, or was it due to your shoulder? And work its way up the chain, or is it your back attributed to your hip, things like that, and see what really is causing the pain. Then we work on that, and after that, we make those long-term changes later on. And that way people, becomes more of a long-term thing, so they know how to help themselves. They have access to me, to text me, to email me if things are going on, even 6 months down the road.
So instead of putting like a Band-Aid on it, you're looking for the long-term solution.
Exactly.
And she gets it. I mean, she gets that long-term solution. I mean, I've seen it because I see her clients come in and out. I see when they're done and they're following. And the one thing, about Kelli also, she is a CrossFit athlete. So she's seeing all these other CrossFit athletes amongst other people. So she understands, and most likely the pain that they're feeling, she at one point also felt that pain because of CrossFit. So there's a lot of CrossFitters who come and see her, and she gets it, and she's done the roller derby, right?
Oh yeah,
so she's done roller derby.
Yep, it's
South Jersey Derby girls.
Yeah, now they're South Jersey roller derby. They just changed.
Penny Fastlane.
Penny Fastlane, that's right. I love Derby. It's like if I could play it right now, I would. It's just the best. It's just as fulfilling as CrossFit in general, or just lifting weights, because it's when you hit someone, you feel great. I don't care who you are. Or when you put on roller skates, you can't be mad when you put on roller skates.
Well, yes,
we know.
Right, that's
like,
that's one of my most viewed chemo videos when I put on roller skates in the chemotherapy center. But I mean, there's no one better. I mean, we talk about like substance abuse counselors, right? The people who make the best substance abuse counselors are those who are in recovery. PT, Kelli has been active and like truly active in some hardcore stuff. What else would make a better physical therapist than someone who has done it, been through it, and experienced it?
You're exactly right, Anne, because that's what, like, I'm more in the niche of, like, say, CrossFitters, roller derby, Olympic lifters, that type of niche, but that you have great PTs that treat runners, that treat those endurance athletes. Excellent. Like, you find your PT that does what you do, they're going to really, help you out.
Yeah, even being an athlete myself, I played college football, professional wrestling. I had access to some of the best trainers and athletic trainers and all that stuff, doctors in the world. And I feel like your background, you did soccer, softball, you had all this stuff. Then you did the roller derby, Penny Fastlane, and then you did the CrossFit. Do you feel like all this really has helped you the most in doing what you do? Because you can connect. Most of these people you deal with are people who are athletes, or I would assume the majority are athletes or suffered some of these injuries. The root cause probably was from some kind of sport.
Right. So you're right, Donnie, because I do know what they have to go through. And I'm not going to sit there and tell you, oh, stop doing roller derby. Stop doing CrossFit. Let's modify it a little bit. Let's figure out what we can do, meet you where you're at, and then go from there. We're not going to, I don't tell people, oh, just stop working out for weeks. Just let it rest. That's like the worst. that grinds my gears. Just let it rest, because it doesn't work. And we got to figure out how to modify movements and keep you moving.
I'll never forget when I shattered my leg, open compound fracture, both my legs. I'll never forget. I was a big college football recruit at the time. I'm a senior in high school, and my doctor, I'll never forget what he said. He's like, it's time to pick some new sports, and he's like, maybe swimming and stationary bicycle. That's what he told me for the rest of my. I'm 18, and I cried because I'm like, NFL, this, I'm killing people on the field. I just got done my senior year. Colleges from all over the country want me, and this guy's telling me swimming. Do I look like a swimmer? Stationary bike? Do I look like a bike?
Like
do I look like Lance Armstrong? Not even stationary. Not even like a the bike couldn't move.
A real bike. It had to be.
Couldn't move. Maybe if he said like a regular bike, I could have been Lance Armstrong. But I remember just like. I just cried, and I was with like my parents, and I just like broke down because as a kid, he never said anything. Maybe we could do this, he just right away. And I remember for so long I was trying to prove him wrong, and it probably hurt me because I went to college, and some of the trainers aren't as good. You know, I could slide through to get on the field earlier than I wanted to, and that hurt me. Do you see that? Like, in my recovery, I think I moved it too quick, kind of because I was trying to prove this doctor wrong. Do you see people try to recover too quick? Maybe they're athletes or working out. Do you see that in your profession?
Yes, definitely, for sure. There's some people that you have to pull in the reins. You have to bring them back and let's, slow it down a little bit in the recovery process, especially post-surgery, different types of surgeries. You can't, there's different protocols you have to follow. You can't just go all out right off the bat. But we want to keep in mind it's and not or. Like, you want to keep in mind that we want to keep you moving and progressing toward the goals that you set and getting back to sport full-time safely.
Now, do you see when people do, like, I know when I started recovering and I had more use of my leg and stuff, I always wanted, I'm squatting like 500, 600. I always wanted to send a picture to that doctor just to say, hey, look at me now. Look at me now. Dr. Ferrer, I still remember you. I remember you, guy. But do you ever have people like come back to you and say, hey, I did this squat because of you, not in an anger vendetta like me who can't let shit go, but that's just me. But do you have people come and say, hey, I squat this because of that, or I finished this meet because of you, or, whatever they do?
Yep. All the time. I have I have open communication with my clients. So I have text messages. It's the best feeling in the world. They're like, oh, I could clean and jerk this much now because of what we're doing, or I could do snatches, or I could back squat, or I'm deadlifting more than I have deadlifted. I PR this. I get that all the time, and it's amazing. It's the best feeling in the world. It never gets old.
Where does that drive come from? As you could tell everything about, you just really want to help people, need people who need fixing. Where does that drive come for you, Kelli?
That comes from me, from being an athlete first and foremost, and just pushing forward and always having like a greater concept of everything. So so I could help these people, but if I can help these, certain amount of clients, then they'll tell other people I could help them, and I could help more people in the long run. And that's the whole goal of it, is to treat people how they should be treated, especially in this healthcare system. And you feel like you're just a number. And just listening, having someone listen to you and feeling that you're, worth it, and feeling reaching your goals and whatever they are, that goes such a long way.
And Kelli also is a CrossFit coach. So she went through her level 1 and all that. So she's also very skilled at incorporating how to do a squat correctly, how to do a lift correctly. All these things you have to do correctly that may just be causing their pain because they're doing it incorrectly as well, right?
Yes, for sure. Not only that, within the classes as well, I've taken additional, learning from as far as functional management of the movement athlete. So I've taken many courses along the lines that way, as well as dialing in on what the squat is, like picking it apart from the ankles, the knees, the hips, to the back, to the shoulders, everything.
Now, like we talked about, there's a lot of people out there. I mentioned people I went through, like doctors, pain doctors, even doctors I saw for my leg and stuff. They're just not doing the right thing, in my opinion. Now, in your field, do you see a lot of people like you with that spirit just to help people and that heart you have, or is there some people who you wish would do things your way more?
There's the physical therapy profession is a wonderful field. I just see so much good within the field itself. Very few and far between you'll get a PT anymore that's like, oh, forget it, let's just move through, whatever, because we spend so much time with our patients. We're there, whether it's, I see people mostly once a week, but I'm there for that hour with them once a week. I talk about everything. I learn about their families. I learned about their past. Yeah, like a mental therapist as well as physical. But you learn so much about them, and you develop such a rapport with these patients. Even though I call them more clients now, I don't feel like we have such a stronger bond that way.
So, has anybody in the field or anybody in your life influence you to get where you're at that you would like to give special recognition to? It might be family or somebody, another PT that's helped you, or any influences that has molded you, Kelli?
Actually, I didn't find this out till later on. This is actually after I started this is further in my career, because my stepson, LJ, he actually is a huge influence on me now, despite whether he knows it or not, and he probably doesn't. He doesn't. But
he does now. He does now.
because I never even mentioned it to him. And the craziest thing is when he was little, he said he wanted to be a physical therapist. And that just kept pushing me further from including starting my own practice and growing my own practice and treating people how I wanted to treat them. So he's a huge influence on me in that direction.
Have you ever had any, like, one patient who really, I know you said you have a lot of people, you love these stories, but there's been one patient that really, like, came in really bad off and you really helped them, that's really changed you?
Oh, yeah. Especially when I was working with more oncology patients, that was huge. Like, there's such a, it's almost like, I want to say like hopeless feeling, but you kind of want to get hope back into them. And I can't say just one, but multiple of the oncology patients have pushed me further along, even though I didn't treat them directly or in their field 100%. And now it's more, like the higher level, athletes. But there's never just one. I mean, I've treated so many. It's just like everyone has their own place in my learning, and I'm always I learn more from them than anyone else.
Yeah, just anytime you're seeing people do better. I did personal training too for a little, and just watching people like achieve goals and stuff, and it makes you feel good. But I know there was times when my clients wouldn't achieve their goals, even the stuff we do, Hunger for Hope and stuff, you see people and you're helping them, you're trying to get them to help, whatever kind of help it is, and they don't achieve that and they go back. I feel like sometimes you're probably like me, where you get connected with them, their battle becomes your battle, and you're like, their loss becomes your loss. When they get hit, you feel like you feel that sometimes when they, for whatever reason, they're not getting the progress they wanted or you hoped, because I'm sure it doesn't always work out all butterflies and rainbows.
Oh, for sure.
Do you feel that?
For sure. I actually had someone that I was working with him for a long time, and nothing was clicking. Turned out it ended up being something that was a lot further than what I could treat anyway, and we figured it out along the way, and which was a good thing. But it's just like, I was like, why isn't this working out? What's not going on? And it ended up being this rare blood disorder, and that was the cause of everything. But we were able to get there because he had access to me. I mean, the comforting thing was he had access to me. He'd text me and say, oh, why is my, leg swelling? And I said, yeah, you got to go get that further looked at. And he did right away. And
sounds like the Angela.
That sounds, yeah, but I didn't go right away.
But he did right away. And that prevented huge problems there. And of course, it's frustrating at first. You're like, what's going on? Like the puzzle pieces weren't matching up. So then sending him out and doing, further testing.
Angela, jump in. I know you're looking over there.
I'm just so hyped to have Kelli here. I mean, she just, And can we have to talk about Barley?
Oh, Barley Steven Tyler.
Barley is like my boyfriend.
So you're animals. You're animals.
He's
and
my
Barley is your dog.
Yeah, he's my golden retriever.
He's
3 years old. Barley's a great dog. He comes to the gym with me every day. So he's been coming to the gym since he was 8 weeks old.
We got a bunch of dog lovers live in the studio watching.
And mind you, when Barley comes, he is such a calming force. And there's a lot of research when it comes to, and Kelli will talk about it more when it comes to emotional therapy dogs, crisis intervention dogs. And I talk to him like a grown man, because when you just look at Barley, he looks like in his past life he was just a real wise person. It's hard to explain, but I talk to him and the first thing I say to him was, how was your day?
Yeah, you even asked me today when you didn't see him.
I didn't even see him today. How was your day? What did you do today? I mean, he has this smile. I mean, I'm not being partial in the least. And this is just such a good dog he is.
And he's definitely loves everyone at the gym. And furthermore, and I also work with Crisis Response Canines. And pretty much Barley's in the process of getting certified. I mean, it's a long list. So this organization goes not only for comfort care, but they go all over the country. So right now they were in Texas and helping out with the shooting and the after effects of that, because people don't realize, and I didn't honestly realize it until I started going to hospitals with them, what an impact these dogs make. People, I can't tell you how many times the nurses, the staff, because we mostly go toward the staff and the nurses rather than the patients. Here and there we'll go to the patients. But I can't tell you how many times people say, oh, this made my day. You have no idea how much this means to pet a dog for 2 minutes.
Right, like, how can you be angry? And I mean, they automatically, and Barley has the smile, like, is to die for. So how can you not smile when you see this friendly, calm dog with this massive smile on his face, and he's just looking into your eyes like he loves you. It's just amazing.
We've seen it here with Paul's Healing Heroes. They brought the dogs in. Mark trains dogs for veterans with PTSD, and he's gotten over like 70 veterans, I think, dogs and stuff, and they train these dogs. It's a long process and everything, alpha and omega dog training. They train these dogs for a lot of veterans with disabilities and PTSD, and they've saved, some of these veterans have saved their lives because of these dogs.
Right.
So I'm sure these dogs are very, very similar.
Right. So with the Crisis Response Canines, so they're all over the country now. So they get deployed to these, disasters pretty much. They've been to Surfside. They've been, because what happens is it's the families, but also the people that are working on the scene. It's draining. There's energy being, drained from that whole situation, whatever it is. So these, the different canines go, and then they comfort the people that are working. And they provide all this relief, as well as the trainers are trained as well too. The handlers aren't just standing there with the dog, like they are trained in support for emotional support in crisis situations. So that is also a hand in hand in that. And
they're still in Texas.
Yeah.
So for those who are listening and they need all, the support they can get. So check them out. Nonprofit, make a donation. They're still in Texas. There's a lot of hard work that they're doing.
You brought up a great point. I think people forget so many times the first responders and people who are on the front lines responding to stuff like what happened in Texas, or we were down at the tornado. You see anything, storm, whatever. The people that are there, they might have not been affected by the actual shooting or stuff, but they're seeing the aftermath. They're dealing with the blood and all the stuff that comes in. That's just a great point. These dogs are also there for them too, you said.
Exactly. And with the hospitals, we do comfort missions as well. So with the hospitals, we'll go to the staff at the hospital, because they're understaffed now. They're working hard. Yeah. Like, these nurses are working their butts off, and the whole situation with COVID and everything is really taking its toll on healthcare workers. So even bringing the dogs in and going through the different hospitals, that has helped. It boosts the morale. We'll walk in on a floor and it's quiet. You could hear a pin drop in the ED, and next thing you know, the dogs are in. We walk out. They're all chatting, talking to each other. The whole level of the system, of the floor goes up. So then that makes their patient care better, because now their morale is better. So the trickle effect is huge.
How did you get involved with the Crisis Response Canines?
My Uncle John is a huge part of the organization. He started the organization with his partner, Andrea, and they started the whole thing, and that's how I kind of begged my way into it. It was like, can we start?
And you got there.
Yeah, we're getting there.
How long has it been since you've been, around it?
I've been around it since October, and with the training and with running a business too. I don't have as much availability as I would like to go to different places, but within that same fact, at least I have more time freedom right now to allot some time to go if I need to. But it's hard to just get the checklist done and then get everything. And because Barley's a great dog, he could care less about any noise.
You hear that, Barley? You hear that, boy? Somebody's getting a treat. Somebody's getting a treat.
That's such a good call.
Weights are dropping. He's falling asleep. He doesn't care.
Yeah, noise doesn't bother him.
Not better than Riley and Duke, but it's
other dogs. Other dogs can be like, rah, 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 yappy, 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 real hyper, and just jumping on him, climbing on him, snipping on him, and he's just kind of completely indifferent, and he stays calm. Yeah, he's such a great dog.
Is there a certain dog they use for this response team, or can it be?
Oh, the top dog in the country is a Rottweiler, so it could be any dog really, as long as
that surprises me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's a great dog, and Gunther was an amazing dog as well. He just recently passed.
Where do they usually get these dogs? Is there a process or?
My uncle trains them. The handlers pretty much work with them. It's their own dog that they train, and then they go through the Canine Good Citizens. They have a whole list of emotional support stuff they have to go through. It's on the website, so I can't even.
And what's the website for people? It's Crisis Response Canines. You can Google it, I guess. Or?
Yeah, crisiscanines.org.
Crisiscanine.org.
Yep.
Canines with S, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So I got to ask you the question. You know what our show's all about. Hope, man. Hungry for Hope is basically, it was built on them hopeless days and giving hope to people who might have lost it. So I got to ask you, Kelly, what does the word hope mean to Kelli Gallagher?
Hope is a very important word to me. It's actually, I was thinking about this because hope it's every day. It's in everything we do. Like hope is you're going to go to bed and wake up the next morning. Hope is that you're creating a business that's going to actually survive and help more and more people. Hope is it's all encompassing that way. And that's why even just building the business with named Sisu, it's a huge word for me because it stems from the Finnish concept of extraordinary determination in the face of extreme adversity. So that is pretty much hope in a nutshell to me, the Sisu mindset.
I love it. I know Angela loves it.
That's a good answer. Before we head out, I do want to remind everyone we have 10 days, everyone, for Angela's Ride for Ange fundraiser. Saturday, June 11th. I'm really hoping for a big turnout so I can say hello to everyone. I'm looking forward. I don't get out much, obviously, because I can't be in I'm compromised, so it's hard, right? Especially right before chemo. So 3 to 5 days before chemo, I have to restrict interactions. I can't be around a lot of crowds. And then same thing for after chemo, which we just had chemo yesterday. So, I feel good right now, knock on wood, but it usually doesn't hit me until tomorrow because everything that they pump you full of all those great steroids and those vitamins that kind of keep you on your own 2 feet. So I plan to go down tomorrow. Hopefully not. So hopefully we can see everyone. It starts at 9:30 a.m. That's June 11th fundraiser. It is a Ride for Ange. You don't need a motorcycle. There it is.
There it is.
I was going to say, you don't need a motorcycle. Right?
You don't need a motorcycle to ride. There's going to be a basket raffle. There's going to be a 50-50.
Can you bring a unicycle? My buddy has a unicycle.
Absolutely.
Can he bring that?
Absolutely.
I'm glad. He's going to be so happy. He's going to be juggling. And man, there's going to be so many clowns there.
It starts at 9:30. There's going to be an open bar. So it's
drunk clowns on unicycles.
Yeah.
This party's gonna be nuts.
And I'm glad that Kelly and you, Donnie, wore your Team Ange shirts because they're going to be sold and available at this fundraiser as well. So
it's comfy, man. It's nice and soft.
Yeah. I like them.
I'm not bragging,
t-shirts.
but I picked out the material.
It's a great shirt.
It's a good shirt. Yeah. And they wore their shirts, and I'm wearing Kelly's shirt today. So,
Tell us about your shirt you're wearing, Ange.
How odd. So this is Kelly's.
It's a definition of the Sisu mindset, extraordinary determination in the face of extreme adversity through strength, will, grit. It's the Sisu. It's not momentary courage, but it is the ability to sustain the courage.
Tell us more about that, Kelly. Where you got into that and everything.
So I got into that. I was going through some tough times at one point, whether it was PT school and there was other, medical things that happened. And it just we're just stuck in my head, CCU. And it kind of pushed me through as I looked further into it. And when I started developing the company and naming the company, I was like, it has to be CSU because hopefully that could help other people as well too. Once they're going through different, whatever injuries, adversity they're going through, it could push them through.
So I know we talked on your sports and your rollerblading and all that, but your roller derby, all that. But and your dogs, your love for dogs, but you also have a love for music and guitar.
Oh yeah.
Tell us about that. Tell us about the woman behind the doctor, the PT.
Oh yeah. So do we have enough time? No, I'm just kidding. Playing guitar. So I started a band with my sisters back when I was in college. So we were the typical, we saw My Chemical Romance. We're like, then let's start a band. So green, didn't know much about it. But my sister played the drums. My other sister played bass. And I was like, well, guess I better learn how to play guitar. We ended up forming a cover band, played in the South Jersey area for a couple years. And then that led me, I learned a lot of business skills from that too, being the spokesperson from the band, hustling at bars, getting a lot of no's, people telling you, no, we go through a booking agent, things like that.
All the most successful people in life have heard more no's than yeses.
Yeah, so a lot of no's. And a lot about business and life, believe it or not, through working with cover bands. And plus it's, fun. Then that led me to playing the banjo for the Mummers. So.
And they do a great job. I mean, I watched them, it was 2 years ago, last year, right? Because last year, How long? I get confused because of COVID.
Canceled the Mummers last year. It was this year.
So
it was this year, but it was a day late because of the storm.
The storm.
I was on 2nd Street both days, but I had my own Mummers parade. Yeah, I go a little extreme.
I will say that our string band and a lot of the other string bands have definitely taken a hit as far as membership wise. So anyone that wants to join, contact your favorite string band. Hegeman can always use people, whether or not you play an instrument. Like I said, we help other people out as well within the association. We've gone to weddings. I've gone to funerals of people I didn't even know, because that everyone is just so close within the string bands itself. It's such a great community.
Maybe.
Oh,
maybe. I'm having a little bit of an idea for a video.
What's your idea?
Just get all the mummers. I don't know if I can sneak them all in. I've done some I've been breaking the rules a lot over there.
You just need some sequence. Little sequence, so an umbrella. You need an
umbrella. But like kind of get a couple people. I'll sneak a couple mummers in and they can dance with me in the chemo machine. And, but I've been breaking the rules a lot over there recently, and they are dealing with my shenanigans. So.
And you brushed over it lightly, but you have a profound effect on talk about hospital workers and the healthcare workers. Like, they're looking forward to you. For you to come over and do your skits.
I have to give them shout outs because my nurse Karen, I know she watches. Hi Karen,
What's
I love
up, Karen?
you. She is fantastic.
She loves you. You're fantastic.
She is just wonderful. All of those nurses in there and the workers and the oncologists, they're just fantastic, and they deal with my shenanigans and they find it funny. And I realize rather quickly, just like you said with Barley and going into the hospitals, and you're talking about nurses who are day in, day out giving IV chemo to some really sick people, and they see just sickness all the time. So if I can put a smile on their face, it doesn't matter how many views I get on when I post it on social media. It's the comments I'm getting from the nurses, it's the messages I'm getting on Facebook, the private messages. If I can make one person's day, one person laugh, that's a great day for me.
Yeah, I mean, that soot on your face made me laugh, as well as eating the marshmallows last time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I'm thinking, and this took 6 separate takes, and I was thinking of creative ways, and because it's hard with the chemo machine. There's not much you can do besides dress it up. So I just thought, and I memorized that whole line. I memorized that whole thing, but I thought at the end with me eating the marshmallows was kind of like, look, I've conquered the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. So who you're going to call? And who doesn't love Ghostbusters? I mean, come on.
I know.
Everybody.
It's a classic.
So, Kelli, before we get out of here, I know you deal with people sometimes at low moments or in pain. And, sometimes they might have lost hope because of this. Nothing like having pain every day when you wake up that can take people to a real dark place in their life that can lead to other demons and stuff. What advice or just hope would you give anybody out there listening who might be struggling, maybe with pain, maybe something you can help, or just maybe with life kicking their ass for whatever reason?
Yeah, you're never too always get help, whatever help you need, whether it's physical help, mental help. I think that knowing someone that you have the accountability for and that's on your team goes much further than you'll ever know. As far when people come in, like you said, they have even if it's pain that's debilitating, sometimes I'll get texts that say they can't even move. And just knowing that they could text me and they could shoot them out to a different direction, or if I need to bring them in right away, that's huge. So always find someone, whether it's that's on your team, that's on your side, that's going to help you get to the next level.
Yeah, I feel like eventually whatever their pain is, whatever demon, the first door they knock on might not be able to help them, but I feel like if they talk to enough people to get help, even in the most dire situations, they'll find that help, and they'll find people like you who are compassionate, and if you can't help them, I'm sure you can send them along to somebody who you have trust and faith in.
Exactly.
Listen, you got to, Kelli knows what she's talking about, obviously. I should have listened to her.
Obviously.
Obviously, she knows what she's talking about. She's spot on with some things, so.
Comes a lot of experience, a lot of clinical experience after 11 years of doing it, so.
And one more time, if anybody wants to follow you, Kelli, they want your service, just give a shout out where they would find that.
You can follow my Instagram is where I'm the most active. It's SISU Physical Therapy. It's linked under here. That is where I'm most active. I have free content on there, as well as you can go to my website, SISUPT.com. If you're interested, there's a contact button. You can shoot me a message, see if you want to work with me, or you could join the email list, as well as I put out free content on the email list as well.
Well, you heard it there. If you're watching live, you can see it under her name. We'll post it later. We'll post her site so you can check it out. Hungry for Hope Nation, thank you for tuning in. We are out of here.
Thank you both for having me.
Stay safe and classy, y'all.